Welcome to Star Wars and Scotch, episode 32.
32, right?
Yeah,
32?
32.
32.
32. This music kicks ass, by the way. I'm really enjoying it. For those of you listening in the future, you won't hear the music. So if you want to hear the music, you got to join us live every Monday night. It's 7 p.m. Eastern.
You don't have to join us every Monday night if you don't want to.
I mean, we're also not here every Monday night. We take some holidays off and stuff like that. So, but 7 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/raredrop, fe.gg/raredropco. And there's some other websites we're live on, but we don't talk about those because there's only like one person watching. So until there's more.
You know what? Thank you to that one person who's watching over on DLive.
I think it's me, though.
Oh. Oh. All right.
I mean, if you want to, it's dlive.tv/raredropco or trovo.live/raredrop. I think.
Oh, is it this one? Is it Star Wars: The High Republic Into the Dark?
That sounds right.
February 2nd. Oh, I already pre-ordered it. There's another one called Secrets of the Force that comes out in July.
Don't you love that past Tim had the foresight to make future Tim so happy?
Yeah, dude. July 13th, 2021. It's called Secrets of the Force. From the authors of the 50-Year Mission and So Say We All comes the first and only comprehensive oral history of the Star Wars movie franchise. Oh, cool.
Chat, Tim hasn't seen Battlestar Galactica, so he doesn't understand when someone says "So say we all." All of everyone else has to say "So say we all."
So say we all. Long live the king.
So say we all. That's how it works.
And then and then another High Republic book comes out June 29th called The Rising Storm. I wonder if that plays into the who are the bad guys right now? The
Nihil?
the Nihil. I'm excited.
Spoiler
I'm really
free.
this one.
Spoiler free though, Tim. Have you found any reasons to maybe think that the Nihil are not the bad guys?
Nope, still pretty much the bad guys.
All right, just checking. He hasn't jumped down that hole yet.
Like, are we talking about like from a philosophical standpoint?
In general, you can come at it from any angle you like. I'm just curious.
They're pretty cutthroat. They're pretty savage.
Savage.
I actually, you and I need to talk about this off stream.
Okay.
And off the record, but there's some interesting similarities between a character of the Nihil and Aldrin from Destiny. If you know, you know.
I know who you're talking about. The guy with what's his name? Mark Thompson does the most amazing like timbre of the voice for.
Mm-hmm.
The guy with a similarity to Lord of the Rings too, because his name is
yes. Mm-hmm.
We're really dancing around this one. This is fun.
We are all the Republic. Yes.
We are all the Republic. So yeah, we should be able to free to talk about that. Hopefully all of it by next week. It won't be this episode though. So like episode 33 will still go on, and maybe we'll touch on, our immediate thoughts and whatnot. But we want to dedicate a solid, at least a half an hour to discussing that. That's gonna be pre-recorded, right, Tim? We're gonna just me and you hash that out, or we're gonna do that live?
Yeah, no, it's gonna be like Mando Minute.
Perfect. So that's gonna be pre-recorded with just me and Tim chit-chatting about it. Yep. It was a light week, but it was an impactful week at the same time. The biggest news we can start off the show today with is, before we do that, kingscoastcoffee.com. And we launched raredrop.fm today.
Ooh,
so,
Kevin, tell us more about raredrop.fm.
If you're sitting at your desk at work or you're sitting at home and you just need that background noise and you miss the soft sound of Tim's voice, and for some reason, unbeknownst to me, you wouldn't be able to watch Tim. Maybe Tim's not live and it's like 9 o'clock at night. You can pop on raredrop.fm, hang out with some other people, and listen to the Rare Drop radio station, which has Star Wars and
it's
Scotch.
actually live. It's actually live right now.
It's live right now.
It was pretty cool. I was like, I'm here in the future because I was hearing Kevin before. It was weird. It was trippy.
Yeah, the show. So the shows will be live. Paul is making sure the shows are live, and then when the show goes off the air, it goes back to our rotation of shows, which generally is going to be the 4 most recent episodes of a show. So the 4 most recent role play episodes of Reckoning Hour, Broman Podcast, Old Fashioned, Overplayed, or this show. But sometimes we'll do some marathons. Maybe and Tim and I take a week off or something, and it's like, you're going to get all 60 episodes of Star Wars and Scotch in a row. And you can go back and listen to that old stuff and be like, whoa, I remember Mandalorian Season 2. That shit was wild. So, yeah, enjoy RareDrop.fm. Let's jump into it. Really, really, really interesting news. We touched on it last week because they announced it a few hours before we went live that Lucasfilm was having a game division. Tim and I speculated that this must have meant the end of the relationship with EA.
Yes.
As usual, Tim and I were right. On Wednesday.
To a certain degree.
Well, Tim.
It's not over.
Well,
relationship's not dead.
We didn't say over in that sense. We said they were expanding the catalog to other devs. So on Wednesday, it was announced that Ubisoft Massive would be working on a Star Wars game.
Okay. All right. Okay. So
first off, before we even do that,
piece by piece.
Yeah. First off, is this the end of the Division 2?
Yeah, that was okay. There's a couple things around it. So, like, I would assume Massive would put a lot of time and effort into Star Wars because there's a lot riding on that relationship. I would say, yeah. It's not like the Division 2 was all that popular, anyways.
It had a hardcore fan base, but I think even that has kind of died off in the recent years.
Yeah, I mean, like that is just niche at this point. So I would honestly say, yeah, sunset it. And just count your losses and just head on. So, but okay. So this is the one thing that people asked me last week after this announced, and something I want to pose to you. And I know how much of like a big Division fan you were. You really liked like Division.
Mm-hmm.
Are you worried that an open Star Wars game will feel too much like a Division game?
So a lot of people responded to both of us this week asking us what we thought. You and Chad, I heard some of the discussions, and me mostly on Twitter. It's the only way to get in touch with me now, unless you have my email. But this is a very, very deep. We're gonna unpack layer by layer question here.
It's an onion.
Would I want the Division's version of Star Wars? Absolutely not. I don't think under any circumstance do I want a tactical Star Wars game fashioned like the Division where I have to min-max. I think that would be horrendous. Star Wars fans are notoriously casual in a sense when it comes to video game. They like depth of story. Obviously Battlefront ended up being a success, so there does need to be some replayability. Wrapping all of that up into what they said. Now, they used 2 words that make me tilt my head sideways and look at them funny and go, do you know what you're saying? They said story-driven and open world.
Yeah. Sounds really good, right?
It used to 3 years ago. Now it's like, you better keep your promise.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. That's why, like, on paper, it sounds great.
Right.
But can they deliver something with like that much depth that like a Star Wars fan would come to expect? There's like Knights of the Old Republic, not Knights of the Old Republic, sorry. Jedi Fallen Order was packed full of stuff.
Right.
That game was layers upon layers upon layers of things to like explore and digest and understand and learn new things from a storytelling point of view within the universe. There's a lot of there's things that you learn about that you would never know about unless you played that game, like the Zepho. You wouldn't know anything about the Zepho unless you played Jedi Fallen Order.
Right.
And I think the Zephos are going to become very, very important as we go down this road within the High Republic. So,
yeah, I mean the High Republic's already pointing at certain items and things, and then there's the Easter eggs that they've been planting of stuff we already know about. I mentioned last week, and I'll reiterate, the biggest retcon comes about, not retcon, but the biggest change in Old Republic Star Wars lore comes about 10 minutes into the book, or 15 minutes in. So, I don't know. It's my vision. If you said, Kevin, you work for Massive in this fictitious world, that means absolutely nothing. Would be to emulate something like Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, that's what I'm imagining. That's in my head. That's what it's going to be.
Where you have this 60-hour experience that is just surreal. Everything's beautiful. Obviously, you'd go from planet to planet, because if you play a Star Wars game, you're on one planet. That's just stupid.
Oh, yeah, it'd be terrible. Could you imagine just spending your entire time in a game on Tatooine? Oh.
Everything's brown.
Sand, I hate it. It's coarse. It's everywhere.
So, you'd need to be able to traverse the universe somehow.
Yeah.
But that style of gameplay, that style of decision making, and it could still be open world where there's side quests all over the place. You can run through the main quest line if you want. So that's kind of my vision. And then it has a whole multiplayer element. I think the framework for Red Dead, and I've said this before, and GTA Online, for a Star Wars game is an action, I'm going to use the word, but some of you are going to lash out at me, MMO, where there's 50 to 100 people on a server, and a server is a planet, and you run around and do all sorts of things.
That's a massive infrastructure.
I know, but this is Star Wars.
Yeah.
How many people are on a Red Dead server?
20. I think 20 is the max for a server, for a server instance.
Which is why it feels so damn empty.
Yeah, because you have this massive map and only 20 people are around it. I don't know, dude. Like I love our friends at Massive. They are awesome people, and they've done some really cool stuff. But like the Division has been such a just a roller coaster of like, it sucked, it's great, it sucked, it's terrible. I'm nervous. I'm very, very nervous for a massive game, a massive Star Wars game, because I just don't know if they can deliver. Like, and that's it's kind of scary for me. We'll see.
Yeah, I have my doubts on this one. I hope to be incredibly and pleasantly surprised and blown away.
Yep.
I hope to be I don't want to say wrong, because I'm not doubting them 100%, like it's going to go down the tubes, but I want to have faith in companies that promise stuff like that. And now I think you kind of almost take it personally, because now they're messing with one of your favorite things.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, you can't get this wrong. It's not like Division where like, well, I'm not really interested anymore, so I'll come back with some story, and then that's it.
I mean, like, Elite Dangerous is coming out with their new expansion called Odyssey, and that's going to be like the first ever instance of being able to like leave your ship in Elite Dangerous. Elite Dangerous has always been like space exploration, but you're always in your ship.
Yep.
You never leave it. And so like in my head, like, to have, if it was something like that, or like No Man's Sky but Star Wars themed, when there was like sprinkles of PvP, but it was like very heavily PvE, and it was all story based exploration. That's going to be the ultimate Star Wars experience, where it's like you can pick your side. Like, you want to go light, do you want to go dark? And then you just like, you pick your path. It's like, if you're going to be, a Jedi, you go the Jedi path. You're going to be a bounty hunter, you go that way. If you want to be, whatever, you just want to be a smuggler and you just want to do smuggle runs, like, you could do that. Like, honestly, like that's going to be like the ultimate Star Wars experience. Is going to be like one of those like sandbox, open exploration, space flight sims, I think, in my head.
I think that you're 100% correct. I think focusing on PvE, but allowing people to grief each other in PvP and do, with punishment and limitations, just like they do in Red Dead, would be the way. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if this project is going to be that ambitious. It could just be another single player experience.
Which honestly, if it's done well and it looks good, I mean, like there's like their engine to me is kind of crappy. I'm not a big fan of the Snowdrop engine.
Yeah.
It feels very outdated. Like Division 2 looked old when we played it. There was nothing about it. It was like, oh, this looks great. So I wonder like what they're gonna do to Snowdrop to make it look new and exciting. So I'm setting my bar low so that hopefully it just blows past every expectation that I have for the game. But like I honestly see this going another route. We talked about last week is like Star Wars is gonna, like, in my head, this game is gonna be a third person single player adventure game. Like it'll be open world. It'll be like they said it's open world, but I think it's gonna be heavily focused on the single player experience. I don't see it really having any like multiplayer sides to it.
Yeah, we'll see. I have a feeling the next full glimpse that we'll get at this game is in August of 2022. I don't think you might see snippets and little bits and dribbles here and there, but there's no way in hell we're seeing anything major until August of 2022. The ground.
Yeah, we might get a teaser this
E3
this summer. During E3 or game like E3 season. I guess I don't even know if E3 is going to happen this year. It's all going to be individuals like publishers doing their own things, I'm sure.
Yeah. So furthering the question, I guess, the floodgates are open now. It seems that EA is no longer exclusive. Who else is making Star Wars games? Bethesda's working on an Indiana Jones game for them.
I didn't know that was something that we needed.
I mean, I'm always down for more Indiana Jones.
Sounds exciting. Like I just didn't think. And when I heard it, I was like, "That's sick!" And that was a game that I didn't know that I needed.
I'm totally
here.
Down
we are.
For Indiana Jones,
and it's Bethesda, so I mean, like, it's either going to be really bad or it's going to be really good.
Or
it's going to be one or the other.
Or the combat will be so bad that the rest of the game is fantastic. So
yeah, exactly. Or the story, the narrative is so boring that you fall asleep.
Which one are you talking about specifically here?
Huh?
Which Bethesda game are you talking about specifically there?
Exactly.
Hey, I love Skyrim.
Skyrim's great, but like, okay. I'm going to talk about specifically Fallout.
That's fine. I never got into Fallout.
Great. Or what was the other one that they did? What was the space one that was essentially Fallout, but not?
Essentially space one? I thought that was supposed to be Starfield. It was going to be that.
No, there was another one. Wasn't there another game that Bethesda did that was like it was essentially
Outer Worlds?
Outer Worlds.
No, Outer Worlds wasn't them. That was Obsidian.
Oh, that was Obsidian. Okay.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if the Indiana Jones game turns out to be like that, I'm gonna be so upset.
Where it's just first person and you have a whip.
Just first person whip, and like you can never connect the whip. It always misses, and the NPCs want to talk your goddamn ears off.
I honestly, if it's not a shooter, I don't like playing first person.
I hope it's fun.
Tarkov, COD, stuff like that, first person all the way. Anything else where I have melee weapon, please just give me third
like
person.
in my head, a Indiana Jones game would essentially be
Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider would be
like
the
a Tomb Raider style game. Yeah. Or what's the Nathan Fillion? Not Nathan Fillion.
Uncharted.
It would be like an Uncharted style game.
Nathan Drake.
I always get those two confused. Every time.
Yeah, no, that would be my vote for an Indiana Jones game, but that's not really Bethesda's area of expertise, so I'm interested to see what comes down. But now they are part of the Microsoft family, so maybe they'll take advantage of the network and branch out and do something new. Who knows?
Fingers crossed.
We'll see. A CD Projekt Red Star Wars game pre-Cyberpunk.
Stop.
They have their hands a little full right now.
Stop. Let's not talk about that.
Oh man, I can't wrap my head around the fact that the same people that made The Witcher are the people dealing with this PR disaster. And I'm enjoying or Cyberpunk. I'm still playing it. I'm enjoying it.
It's very fun. I like the single player. It was good.
But the news this week about the demo being oh, anyway. So I guess who else could be working on a Star Wars game? Who else would it make sense for them to make a Star Wars game is my question. Do you also think, because we talked a bit about Old Republic being like the video game universe ish, do you think if Lucasfilm gave Knights of the Old Republic to another studio, how would that affect their relationship with EA and BioWare? Because whenever we were talking about it last week, I was going to bed and I'm thinking like, well, maybe they gave it to another studio, and I'd be like, but they're still in
I
partnership
don't
with
think
EA.
it's theirs. I don't think it's theirs to give.
Oh, that'd be shitting in someone's Cheerios. They own the Star Wars intellectual property.
Yeah, but I don't know if they can just like pick up KOTOR and just be like, here you go. It would have to be a whole. It would have to be like a whole nother game. Like name something completely different. Like there's no way. No.
Fights of the Bold Republica.
I don't. Yeah. I don't know.
How's that?
That's. Yeah. I just don't think that would fly. A lot of people is like, for me, like BioWare is Knights of the Old. Like it's like they're too close together. I just don't think that would work.
The studio that made the Arkham games, they're working on Gotham Knights.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. I'm excited for that one.
I am going to take
That's
a day
next
off
year, right?
No, it's this year. It's in a few months.
Oh crap.
They just released a gameplay video recently too.
Okay.
Insomniac. I know it's bad, and I know they've made other games, but the second you said Insomniac, I'm like, how could we swing across the city as a Jedi? It's just so ingrained in my head that they make Spider-Man games.
Yeah, agreed.
So
what other did they announce anything else, or was it just those two studios working on Lucasfilm games?
those are the only ones that we know about. We know that Jedi Fallen Order is in development. We know that
Yeah, we know that Jedi Fallen Order 2 is a thing.
We know it's a
Squadrons is
trilogy.
definitely not. We know it's gonna be a trilogy.
We don't know anything
And
else.
they're working on 2. Squadrons is still a live service game. They haven't pulled the plug on that, so that's still a thing. So like EA is definitely not out of the running. It's just I think we'll still see more EA games. I saw people like begging for like now that it's not. I saw people begging for another Battlefront game, but not made by EA.
No.
I was like, I don't know how much more Battlefront you need.
No.
They've done everything. Like Battlefront 2 covers it all.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more you want for that, but yeah, I saw the Battlefront fans like begging for a new Battlefront now. I'm just like, we've had so much Battlefront. It's time for something else.
Empire War 2, they would just remaster it. There's no market for new RTS games, unfortunately, for like major IPs.
No, the days of RTS I think are gone.
It's sad. I mean, Command and Conquer remastered did good, but it was because it was nostalgic, not because it was.
It's because it was so it was because all the 90s kids like went and bought it.
It's the same thing. Same reason you'll never get a real Star Wars MMORPG. Also, speaking of that, so we were talking about games and development. I logged into SWTOR yesterday, 2 days ago, and they changed the whole intro.
Oh.
So
wasn't there a new expansion coming out?
They're doing an update soon. I don't know the date. Arathos is in chat. I'll probably drop it in there. But they're doing an update soon. But the whole intro was changed. So, again, every time I think that game, like, well, maybe they're going to stop supporting it, they do something or make a decision that shows, from what I've read, they still have steadily 100,000 to 200,000 people playing. And then,
that's impressive. How long has that game been out for?
2011, I think it came out.
Wow.
A story update came out already. Was that December? December, maybe. But the thing with that game that I find interesting is apparently there's an uptick whenever they release new movies, TV shows, or anything, because people are like, I need my fix.
Yeah, because they just go to Steam and look for Star Wars games. Like, this one's free to play.
We joked at like I was in the Empire like area in the game on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
The flagship, and we joked that it was like right in between episodes 3 and 4 of Mandalorian this season, and we were all joking in chat that does anyone else want to play Mandalorian the game? Because everyone running around the ship was dressed in Mando armor.
That's awesome.
Anyone want to do a bunch of Mando raids? It was very because you can.
This is the way.
Yeah, because you can do full Mando raids. It was very funny.
That's awesome.
So you have SWTOR, you have their supporting squadrons still. You have the massive game. We assume Fallen Order. They've said it's a trilogy, so I'm assuming it's a trilogy. Is there anything else that's like out there that we're not talking about, or that
nothing that like has been announced? And if I know anything behind the scenes, I'd like people would jump out of my ceiling and kill me. So
somebody said something in somebody's chat the other day. They were like, "What about like an Avengers style game, but Star Wars?" Where, and I was like, "No.
We need to get away. Need to get away from the live service looter shooter stuff. It's not working. Stop it."
I have a feeling that's the next genre that's about to shit the bed royally.
Stop it. Avengers was as much as okay. So everyone, when Avengers was like the thing, and then like the week after, playing single player was like, "What happened? Why aren't you playing Avengers anymore?" I was like, I played Avengers for the single player. I wanted the story, and I got the story. It was a fun story, and that was it. The monotonous like running the same map over and over and over and over and over again, hoping for the drop, is not fun. And then like. You do it in the Star Wars universe, it's not gonna be fun either.
No, it won't be fun.
It just won't be enjoyable. People want, like, Star Wars fans want lore. They either want a hack and slash with a lightsaber, and they want good storytelling. That's all they want.
My son plays 3 games: Minecraft Dungeons with his best friend Nate, Avengers, and Marvel's what's the Switch game? Ultimate Alliance. That's it. So the only reason I still play...
Your son also plays Hot Wheels.
I
know.
We had to dismantle it. It was a whole tears. It was a thing.
Okay, well, hold on a second. What about the Lego guys?
No, Vader's Castle is right here.
No. The iPad game, the Legos, the Incredibles.
He hasn't played that in a while.
Oh, okay. That was a thing for a while, Kevin.
No, that's pretty much all. I think he plays Marvel Superheroes 2, sometimes Lego on his Switch, but mostly now it's Ultimate Alliance.
Got it.
Because he is, quote, trying to get Nightcrawler leveled up was the latest thing he told me today.
Oh, that's adorable.
We were showing him the trailers of everyone on Disney Plus because we still won't show him the movies because we think they're just a little bit too old for him still.
Yeah, I can see that.
Danielle's like, "Who's that?" And he's like, "Thanos." "Who's that?" "Black Panther." "Who's?" And he's just yelling it out. He knows who they all.
Kevin, that's your boy.
Oh, you got one of those too. You can do that soon. So we didn't have time this weekend, but we're gonna start working on the Lego Walker. If you want to come over, you're more than welcome to. And help us with the Walker.
You guys are gonna build an AT-AT?
No, it's the clone one, the trooper,
the little chicken walker.
Yeah, one of those guys. Yeah. We're gonna build that and probably watch Rebels while we do it this weekend.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so, if you want to. Yeah, and before somebody says something, Tim's like one of 3 people that I see consistently.
I don't leave my house.
I go to the office just to get a sense of normalcy and some quiet. Yeah, so I mean, there's not many games that we know of, so I'm very curious. And they wouldn't start a publishing company just to say like, "Hey, this massive game's coming out."
No, I definitely feel like they wanted to like kind of wet everyone's, or what's the word I'm looking for? Not wet the palates. Tantalize the taste buds. Get people salivating. However you want to phrase it. They wanted to get people interested in what they're doing. I feel like we'll get a full lineup of Star Wars games or Lucas Arts games in the summertime. I think we'll either see it at a like E3 style like press event. It'll either be in like Cologne. It'll be at I don't know. The whole scene is up in the air. But I think summertime is usually when we get all our big game announcements for the following year. I think it'll happen around that time.
Did Tim just say running the same maps, hoping for better drops is boring? Isn't that Tarkov? I love Tarkov, but that's it. Tarkov is a PvP experience, so the dynamics of every time you log into the map
every time you go into a map, it's always going to be different. Like, yeah, those engagements are going to be
But if you
every time.
If you run a strike in Destiny, it is always the same mechanics, the same boss fight, same thing if you run a dungeon in WoW or Raid. It's always the same mechanics over and over again. PvP at minimum, and this comes from a guy who generally only plays PvE games for the most part. Not lately, no. Ever since I've been hanging out with Tim, I've been playing Tarko. But PvE is always, it's a rinse and repeat, and you get better at it over time. PvP is a unique experience every time. So
Yeah, on the same map, of course. Yeah. But I mean, like,
announcements.
I was just talking about it from like when we were talking specifically for Avengers. It was just always like you go into a map, and like, yeah, the enemy types could change a little bit, but it was just like you ran the same thing over and over and over and over. It's just like Destiny or any other like RPG style game like that.
Oh,
hoping for better drops.
I forgot that Massive is doing Avatar too. Interesting.
I
do not like Avatar.
I don't know what James Cameron's doing. Why it took him so long to get the second one out, but he wants to do like 5 of them. It's gonna be wild.
Ugh. No one's gonna like that. I don't like Avatar at all.
Hey Kevin, do you want to start a podcast called Absinthe and Avatar? Perfect.
Tim.
No, you don't want to do Absinthe and talk about Avatar.
There's two rumors floating around in a theory Tim and I wanted to touch on. First rumor is something we've addressed in the past. I still don't believe it, but it's gaining steam, so I'll give you all the pleasure of
let me hear it.
Of jumping in. That would be that there is still, according to these few people that keep circulating the rumor, that there's still a vying for power at Lucasfilms between Kathleen Kennedy and now apparently the Team Filoni, Team Favreau situation. I don't believe it. I really don't. All they do is seem to praise each other. While they may disagree with decisions that the others make, they seem to work well together as a unit.
Yeah.
So I really don't think that one's true. I know a lot of you want it to be true because you all want Kathleen Kennedy fired.
I mean, like, I get it.
But what do you do when Kathleen Kennedy gets fired and then the first bit of content drops that you don't like? What happens then?
Wait, bring her back. Crap.
Because as much as people want to shit on her for the trilogy, she's also responsible for The Mandalorian. Like, she helped Favreau bring that to life and to fruition. She greenlit it. She has approved it. So 6 in one, half dozen in the other, kids. I don't buy the rumor. Tim, what do you think?
I still don't think there is this weird internal struggle happening behind the scenes. Like, I have a hard time believing that. Like, I respect the hell out of Jon Favreau and out of Dave Filoni. But to think that there is, like, this weird division between, like, the two sides, just kind of, like, clamoring for power, it just sounds like one of those just, like, far-fetched, like, just Reddit posts.
Yep. And for continuity, we'll say it again, and Werewood just said it and reminded me, that Kathleen Kennedy is George Lucas's handpicked successor to the throne.
She's been with him since the beginning. She's been with him since the beginning, and to think that she wouldn't be like the right spirit, like she wouldn't know what to do next, is silly, because she does. She was with him the whole way through. So and apparently he's back. Apparently he's back doing some stuff. Apparently, Kevin.
The other rumor is that George Lucas is heavily involved in season 3 of The Mandalorian,
which makes me a little nervous because the prequels, I think George Lucas was high, like not like Professor Broman high, like really high during all 3 movies.
Sometimes Professor Broman high.
Maybe almost Professor Broman high.
Not all the
holy
time,
crap, dude, he was on some stuff. I think, and maybe he's mellowed out. Maybe it's better. But man, George, it was rough. I'm a little worried as to how, like, what is he involved with? Are they going to give him an episode? Are they going to let him direct an episode or two? Or is he going to be like an executive producer kind of guy?
I love that chat immediately turns into, well, does this mean Jar Jar's coming back too?
Dude, Misa, so happy to see you.
Because Jar Jar's could Jar Jar be
Jar Jar's-
alive?
Yes. But he's on Naboo. Currently. He's living out his years in exile.
I was really hoping and this might be a skosh of a spoiler, but when we went to Naboo in High Republic for that brief period, there was going to be a Gungan involved, just so Mark Thompson had to read the voice to you.
Yep. Yep.
I was crossing my fingers, but it didn't happen, so damn.
Sorry, Kevin.
Hey,
yeah, no, so
there's still hope. This is only the beginning. We can get a new notable Gungan into the High Republic just to make you angry.
Hate it. Hate all of it.
It could be good and it could be bad. George Lucas might be one of those people that operates like allegedly Vince McMahon operates.
What do you mean?
That Vince McMahon always needs a no person.
George
When WWE is at its best.
Lucas would be Dave Filoni's no person?
No, the other way around.
Dave Filoni is George Lucas's no person?
Right. You always need someone to say, no, that's a bad idea, to filter out and get your good ideas.
I see.
That's something that's been said about not Vince McMahon. What's the other guy's name? One of the other old writers for WWE who went to WCW and stuff. Apparently, his term in WWE was great because he had people around him saying no.
Yeah.
And when he went to WCW, it was free reign. Yeah, Vince Russo, thank you. And when he went to WCW, it was free reign, and that's why the stuff he was writing was absolutely horrendously horrible because there was nobody saying no anymore. So I have a feeling that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau could technically be the no person to get George's good ideas out and filter them. It's
makes sense.
It's like straining pasta. You get the water out, and then you have a nice, delicious bowl of pasta.
And who's the colander?
Dave and John.
And who's the noodles?
The content.
And who's the water?
George Lucas's horrendous ideas.
Wait, and then
Jar Jar Binks, essentially, Tim.
Wait, so is George the spaghetti sauce?
He's part of it.
This is a really rough analogy for me. All right.
I guess the pasta would be would be George's good ideas. The water would be George's bad ideas. John and Dave would be the colander. And the actual act of the meal would be the content.
And so Lucas is the guy eating the pasta?
No, we are eating the pasta.
We're eating the pasta.
Right.
So we're eating George Lucas?
We're eating his ideas.
And so who's George Lucas?
He is the creator of Star Wars.
No, but in your analogy, who is he?
He's not anyone in the analogy. The pasta.
But why but hold on. Why do John and Dave get to be the colander?
Because they're filtering the bad ideas from the good ideas.
So is George like this omnipresent being that doesn't really exist? Like, how does this work?
He's just the pasta. Well, his ideas are the pasta.
No, I thought his idea. Okay, yeah. So so is he the maker of the pasta?
Yes, he is the field of grain. There you go. The gluten.
Okay. So I just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page. That's all. I'm glad we are.
You can't eat the pasta, so does it even matter at that point?
It's not true. We went to Greenwise yesterday, and we found keto-friendly pasta.
Good keto-friendly pasta, because most of it tastes like I'm chewing on grass.
Okay, Kevin. Well, you're not invited for dinner.
Okay, so the pasta's not good. That's what you're telling me.
It's made from seaweed.
I went to Whole Foods, and I looked like an ass asking if they had pea pasta, and she tried to give me chickpea, and I was like, no, this is actually pea pasta. And she said no, so thanks, Tim.
You have to order it
on
online.
Amazon. I know. I'm going to take your wife's advice and do that. I just figured I was in Whole Foods, so I'd ask for pea pasta. And, and now in the age of COVID, you can't actually see someone. At least she didn't
just point you to the bathroom. That would have been weird.
Drink it out of the toilet. in the age of COVID, you can't see people's facial expressions, so you can't see quite how much they're judging you. You just have to base it all on eyes.
Just like,
Whatever. I have to go eat kale in the break room.
I have an avocado with my name all over it.
Oh. That's everyone that works at Whole Foods, Chad.
Hey.
So it could be good, it could be bad. If George is just an idea person hanging out and saying, you know, back in, you know, when I wrote the story, I was thinking this, and John does what he does best, which is taking old things and tiny little details and making them come alive as part of the story. I'm all for it. If George is sitting at the table with the writers, someone should escort the senile man out of the room.
Yeah.
And let him hold the Baby Yoda puppet for as long as he wants.
Man, he looks old.
George?
He's fragile.
He's what?
Yeah.
70s? Late 70s?
He's getting there. Yeah, he's looking pretty fragile.
George Lucas.
Did you know that James Earl Jones turned 90?
76. And he's still doing Darth Vader voiceovers.
He's 90.
76. George.
He's 90, Kevin.
I love James Earl Jones. That's going to be a rough one to swallow when that happens.
He's old. I had no idea. And he's still doing Vader. He was Mufasa. Again.
He's also, what's his face in The Sandlot?
I don't know.
Love James Earl Jones. George as a lore consultant is perfect. Yeah, I agree.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I feel like he's always been a lore consultant.
He was the lore at one point.
Yeah, and then like everything that John or that Dave Filoni knows came from George.
He also just did. That's right. He also just did the new Coming to America movie. He's in it.
Oh wow, that guy's awesome.
He's freaking awesome.
Jones.
I found this Reddit theory, and I want to float it by you all, chat, because it's so ridiculous, and I love it. Tim hates it. How much do you hate it?
Which one is it?
The who rescued Grogu from the temple.
Oh, I hate this one.
So you know it's worth reading, right, chat? Right? Before we do that, I'm just going to take a quick moment to thank Chef Buddha for 8, Pockets for 26, Sadakit for 14, and Darkwing for 2. Thank you so much for the direct support on Twitch.
Yeah, thanks.
Appreciate your ass.
I hate this one. You have to read it?
Yeah, no, they want me to read it. Chat, do you want me to read the theory, or you want me to jump straight to the questions brought to you by patreon.com/rarejoe?
Oh, where you too could become a patron today and help support your favorite content creators on Rare Drop.
They want me to read it.
Of course they do. Masochist. Go for it, Kevin.
This comes from inverse.com. The theory is from Reddit, though. Who rescued Baby Yoda, Grogu, from Order 66? That question has been nagging at Star Wars fans ever since The Mandalorian introduced the character. Grogu was already 50 years old by the time viewers met him in Disney Plus show's debut episode, which meant he was alive during Order 66 Jedi Purge. Can I fast forward? Here it is, the theory. Redditor, the real Gundam Bale, suggests that it was none other than Quinlan Voss who saved Grogu from certain death on Coruscant.
What? Like, what?
To back up their claim, the Redditor argues that due to his extensive experience working undercover, Voss would have been uniquely equipped to sneak into the Jedi Temple and get Grogu out of there, as well as keep him alive and hidden afterwards. Grogu was also being guarded by Niktos when he was found by Din Djarin in the Mandalorian pilot episode, many of whom typically work for the Hutt clan, which would connect back to Voss's connections to the criminal underworld. Now, a lot of you might not know who Quinlan Voss is. He was a Jedi. During the last days of the Republic, Quinlan Voss was known for being more of a brash rule breaker than most of the Jedi at the time. So Quinlan Voss is in some of the...
He's in one of the Clone Wars episodes.
Yes. He's also in episode 2 in the background.
He's a badass, dude. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's neat. I don't like it.
I will say this, though. If any Jedi are still alive that we don't know about, Quinlan Voss would be at the top of the list of potentials.
Oh, yeah. He can definitely fly under the radar. There's no question there. I don't like it. I feel like that just feels like, again, it's another one of those just easy outs that I don't like.
Who would you have it be?
I want more complexity to that story.
Who would you have it be, Tim?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I feel like that his little pod is going to be a big key to his to why he was able to survive.
Okay. Chat, as we do every week, we want to thank our patrons for supporting us. We go to Patreon to take questions, but it's crickets over there. No one asked any Star Wars and Scotch questions, so...
Thanks. We're not a big hit with the patrons, apparently.
Thank you all, but also you.
Kevin smells.
I do. I smell like Dolce & Gabbana. Dolce
one.
Gabbana. Andrew said, Tim, did you hear the rumor about a bearded Jar Jar Binks in the Obi-Wan series? I'm sure Tim has already knew about this as he is a part of the Jar Jar Binks fan club.
What the fuck?
It's not a question, honestly, though. Well, I guess the first part was.
What?
Anonymous asks...
Is that confirmed?
No.
Or is it just a joke?
I think they're messing with you, Tim.
Son of a bitch. Go ahead, Kevin.
Did you... Okay. Anonymous said, do you expect Fallen Order 2 or Battlefront 3 this year? No and no. We don't even know if Battlefront 2 is happening.
Hold on. What was the question?
Do you expect Fallen Order 2 or Battlefront 3 this year?
No, I don't see Battlefront ever. Battlefront's done. And I think we might get a teaser for Jedi Order Fallen Part 2. But I don't think we'll see a release for that until next year.
So the bearded Jar Jar Binks thing is a rumor. It's not actually true, but it's a rumor.
Carry on, Kevin.
No spoilers, but how do you guys think that you would view the Force if you were to describe it the way they do in Light of the Jedi? Whew, there's so many cool ways of describing it.
It is very cool. I honestly have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question, and I don't have a good answer for it because
I like the wave one. I think that was the wave one was my favorite. Without giving away the whole thing.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about it without spoiling, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody. Yeah. I'm just gonna have to go ahead and say I don't know, or come back to me next week. I'll think about it some as I'm continuing my journey through Light of the Jedi. I will think about it more.
Star Wars version of No Man's Sky. What worlds would you hop around to enjoy? See, the problem with that in my head is you can't explore something that's already been explored in the sense that No Man's Sky explores things. Like, you can't go to Tatooine and be like, I'm going to find the Great Dragon that's already been found and eats sand people. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't have the same feeling. Tim?
I see what you mean. Yeah, because I mean, like to your point, Kevin, like No Man's Sky is all about exploring new and uncharted things, whereas like the whole point of like a Star Wars game is for you to go places that you know of,
right?
For the most part, like that's the exciting part. It's like, holy shit, we're going to Kashyyyk, or oh my god, we're on this planet, and going to like Malachor, or to go to whatever. There's like all these like really cool planets that you just like you've only like seen pictures of, or like you heard whispers of, and then you get to see it. To go to like the whole point of No Man's Sky is to explore all the uncharted stuff, the things that you've never seen before. And to Kevin, I would have to agree. To Kevin's point, it's all about the things that you do know about. Except for like, I don't know. They did a really good job in Mandalorian and introducing new planets, but they weren't anything like super crazy, like nothing like that were like really memorable. But they did that in a really like fun way to like introduce new places. I don't think they could do that in a video game where they're like, here's 100 brand new Star Wars planets you've never heard of before.
Yeah.
There's no, they like, and then they'd have to build backstories and lore and like all that stuff like that. That's a huge pain in the ass. I don't think anyone wants to undertake.
Agreed.
Oh.
What?
Are you still pulling questions from Gleam?
I have, but you can grab one if you got one.
There was a question. There was a question from Joseph in Facebook chat, and he asked, "Do you think Ezra will be in the new Ahsoka show?"
Yes.
I think so. Ahsoka's, like the thing that she did at the end of Rebels was to go with Sabine and go find Ezra. So I think that is where the Rebel stories will pick up. It'll be with Ahsoka in the Ahsoka show. Yes, 100%.
How do you think the process for selecting a studio to work on Star Wars works? Did Disney come to them with an idea, or did Massive pitch to Disney? From my knowledge of the space, it can go either way. You can bring an idea to. So it's very interesting because you're dealing with a major intellectual property. So for all we know, that this game that they're making was in development, and then somehow they got connected with Lucasfilm, and now they're saying, all right, we can make this a Star Wars game. Because when you create a game, there's probably 2 to 3 years where your game has literally no identity aside from framework, systems, and just creating what it's going to be, not how it's going to be and what the story is going to look like. So there's a lot of games that have been created that when they were birthed from inception, meaning, the idea of the systems and how the game would work, had nothing to do with what the story was when you look at it. So that can work either way. Tim, you have a little more insight there than I do with your experience.
Yeah, you essentially hit the nail on the head. They'll have an idea of what they're making, but they're working or even they have a base idea of hey, this is our open world thing, and then you start to kind of pivot it towards what you're working on. So this could have been something that they brought to them and pitched it, or it could have been something that Lucas came to Massive, or they did what maybe they did what Microsoft did, and they just hey, who wants it? We got it. You want some? And maybe there was an internal bidding war again, with a bunch of different publishers. I'm not sure. I don't know.
For you personally, what Star Wars planet could sustain a story on its own without allowing you to travel to another planet? You listed the two that I would have said, which would be Coruscant and Nar Shaddaa, because there's enough on both planets to, 1313 was supposed to fully take place on Coruscant.
Coruscant is, there's so many levels. it would essentially be like Cyberpunk, right? This massive futuristic city that you could explore that has a bunch of different levels
and different
to go up and down in, and
as you go up and down.
Exactly. Depending on how deep you go is depending how scummy the people get. It's just the farther away you get from the surface, the worse shit's gonna get, and that's why 1313 was so cool.
So yeah, and I would say Nar Shaddaa because it's similar to Coruscant in the size that it's a.
I think Korriban could be cool, Korriban in its prime, before it was all ruined and messed up. It could be fun.
I feel like you'd get bored. It's a desert planet. So you would just be in the desert, and the only real cool part of it is the part with the temples, the burials. Tim talking about Morban. It can be pronounced either way. Straight from the Star Wars folks. Considering how Xbox has been responding to Lucasfilm games on Twitter, which Xbox studio would you want to work on a Star Wars game?
I think a Rockstar, I think that Red Dead Redemption 2, GTA 5, that style of a game, that third person open world.
Ninja Theory.
They did Ghost of Tsushima, right?
No, Ninja Theory was... who did... what's the freaking game they made?
Who did Ghost of Tsushima?
Oh my gosh. What's the name of this game? It's bothering me. I'm looking at the picture and I can't remember the name of the game.
Ghost of Tsushima was Sucker Punch.
Ninja Theory is Senua's Saga, the Hellblade games.
Oh yeah, that would. Well, I mean, like then that would essentially be. Man, that would be dark. That'd be a dark Star Wars.
Yeah, that could be your Acolyte game.
Yeah, that'd be
nice. There you go, buddy. Yeah.
Rockstar would make Star Wars combat horrible. I mean, I always say it was like, to take Rockstar's formula of like that, like really, really fun story game, but being able to have the open world, exploration. I think they did a really good job with it. That's all.
Would you guys do a shirtless Star Wars and Scotch? We can't show nipples on Twitch.
No.
Will next week's Star Wars and Scotch allow spoilers from Light of Jedi? Maybe.
I don't think so. I think we'll keep, for the most part, that to its own episode. So if you want to go listen to it, like our 30 minutes to an hour breakdown of like what we thought of the book and like the cool parts to it and stuff, go listen to that. And then like we'll have an episode for each book that we do. And then we might make reference to that episode or like to a moment, but anything like big story-wise, I don't want to ruin it for anybody because like it takes a while to get through these books. Some like books take a while to get through. Whether you're reading it or you're listening to it, it still takes time. It's a commitment to get through it. So,
would either of you ever want the Yuzong Vong to make an appearance in a post-sequel story, or do we ignore the post-sequel era moving forward?
I'm so tired of talking about the Yuzong Vong.
Would I love to see them? Sure, but Tim, the Grisk have already technically
the Grisk are already here. The Grisk are very much like the Yuzong Vong, and like they're the really cool bad guy right now. Like between the Nihil in the High Republic and the Grisk during the Kevin, what do they call this time? The rule of the Empire, or
yeah, well, it depends what era we're in.
That's what I'm talking about. What's the era that's during the Empire?
Something of the Empire. Go ahead, keep talking.
Anyways, so the Grisk are gonna be your bad guys for that. Like they are the creepy. They're like outside of the Empire being the bad guys, because we know, guys, it's all about order. Order where there's chaos is where the Empire shines. Long live the Empire. So the Grisk are encroaching on Imperial Galactic space from the chaos. That's what we're learning about in the Thrawn books, and then we've got the Nihil in the High Republic. I don't think we need a Yuzong Vong. I wholeheartedly believe is the Grisk is the canonized version of the Yuzong Vong.
Reign of the Empire. Age of Rebellion, New Republic.
And what's so cool, what's so neat is that we are able to introduce another bad guy if you really feel like the Empire is really the bad guy during, this part of the Star Wars timeline. To have two evil identities within the universe is very cool. And so I'm excited to learn more about the Grisk because they are badass motherfuckers.
Got all that?
They're very cool.
Chat, did you get it?
There you
go.
It's
interesting because every time you Google Grisk, pictures of the Yuzong Vong
come up.
So
but that's how they're described.
I wonder if they're just interchanging them for the current lore.
I think they just canonize them. I think they just put them in there and they just call them the Grisk. I think they're dope. They're really cool.
We are all the Republic. Anonymous asked, how do you guys feel about the newest Star Wars Squadrons game? I'm going to need you to go back on the podcast feed or on YouTube. I'm going to need you to go back and go to the entire episode we did about Squadrons. The story was great. I can give Tim and I's review right here. Story was great. It was a lot of fun. If you get the game on sale, 100% play the story. It was very engaging and cool. Talk to everyone in the hangars as much as you can to get as much lore as you want. The PvP is boring and doesn't really go anywhere.
Nailed it, Kevin. Perfect. Nicely done.
You're welcome. Chat, thank you so much for hanging out with Tim and I on episode 32 of Star Wars and Scotch. We are off to the chaos now to
yeah, we're gonna go hang out with Admiral Thrawn.
We're gonna go to the chaos and do things. As always, you can go to raredrop.co and click that Star Wars and Scotch button and go back and listen to any of the episodes. You have raredrop.fm, so drop into there anytime, and maybe Star Wars and Scotch is on, or maybe something cool and new that you'll find is going to be on there instead. You check out Tim tomorrow, fb.gg/darkness429. He will be live there tomorrow morning around 8:30 a.m., somewhere in there. So
probably,
just stop on
probably
by.
9. I've been doing 9
and
lately.
say what's up.
I like 9. Yeah.
9 sounds good. Yeah, okay, I'm down.
Yeah, okay.
All right, cool. I've already been at my desk for an hour, so I get to not work with Tim because Tim's not on my screen like he normally is, so that's depressing. So if you could start at 8 for me, that'd be great.
All right, Kevin.
I'm kidding. Chat, again, thank you so much for supporting the show. We love you. We think you're fantastic. We're going to go raid a community friend who's currently playing Battlefront. Go say hi to Mr. Vengeance and enjoy some Battlefront. Maybe you can hop in a game. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Have a good night.
The Force knows. May the Force be with you.
And also with you.
Long live the Empire.